welcome back to the Football Terrace. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. Make sure you're subscribing and download the One Football app right now, the best one-stop shop for all your football news, live scores, statistics, and much, much more. And with the transfer window opening soon, the deals are being worked on from now. You've seen the news, it's all picking up. You need that app because you need to be ready. And there's lots to delve into today with Alexis McAllister, the match winner against Man United, pushing hard from his direction to join Liverpool. That deal really feels at this moment that it is going to happen and get over the line. We're going to take a look at Newcastle and a rumor they could be looking to bring in Cristiano Ronaldo this summer. Arsenal, along with Declan Rice, they are looking at another new centre-back in Josip Sotelo from Dynamo Zagreb. And we are taking a look at Man United and Chelsea, who are linked with big money moves for Victor Osimhen after a message has reportedly been sent after Napoli clinched their title. But let's start with Alexis McAllister. Very good performance against Man United last night. It really was. Not just the penalty, which was emphatic, but his overall midfield performance. He can drop deep, he can move forward, energetic, good technically. This player will be an asset for Liverpool. Now, I saw a report suggesting that 35 to 40 million pounds a day or two ago could land him. They're being quashed very quickly, and the marketplace is now suggesting that nearer 70 million pounds could be the asking price. So I'm really intrigued to see where the happy medium in this fits. Will it be around 50, 55 million, or will it be the upper end of the echelon? Of course, Brighton are reaching out to rival clubs, Manchester United being one of them and others, to see if they can gauge interest from any other parties to try and create a bidding war, which will, of course, indeed increase the price. But according to Fabrizio Romano, McAllister is set on a move to Liverpool, which probably means you won't see many other clubs step in for him because clubs don't like the public perception of rejection. He goes on to state here that he understands negotiations will continue in the next 2 weeks. Man United remain interested, but it depends upon the club's sale. So Manchester United have made no inquiries yet. They haven't spoke to the player. There is a loose interest in him. But my take is this. If he is set and keen on Liverpool, there is no way, no shape, or no form where Man United will get heavily involved. Because Man United will not want the PR. They don't want 3 players in the last year to say no to them and yes to Liverpool. Of course, Man United media will play it down. Man United top Reds will play it down. But of course, us real people can accept when our team gets rejected. It's obvious. So I kind of don't want Man United to go in for him as a United fan because I don't want another smudge on the blotch paper, on the ledger, as it were. But we'll see what happens. But look, if Liverpool pull this off, I'm not going to pull any shots. This is a brilliant signing for them. An absolute brilliant signing for them. World Cup winner, Premier League proven. We know he can play here. We know he's settled in the UK. So always slightly less risk when moving football clubs. There's a tremendous amount of talent. There really, really is. And I think this could be a colossal signing for Liverpool with compliments elsewhere, not just him. You put him into the midfield with who's leaving. It's not enough to get them back into a title race. And remember, Liverpool are only judged on title races under Klopp. 7 years in the job. Brilliant team. Champions League winners. Multiple Champions League finals. Multiple title races. And, of course, winning their first title in 30 years. That's what Liverpool have got to get back to. 3rd and 4th place and no title race next year isn't good enough. So they need more than just McAllister. But this could end up being a very, very good piece of business indeed. Now, we mentioned Manchester United, and this story is circulating today, and you're going to see a lot of news around Victor Osimhen. Now that Napoli's season is done, they've won the league, the transfer stories are going to come thick, and they're going to come fast. And this headline here states that Manchester United's transfer target, Victor Osimhen, said it wasn't the right time to discuss his future after Napoli sealed their first title in 33 years. And of course it wouldn't be. It would have been highly unethical and disrespectful for him to sit there and talk about leaving at that moment. I always remember a very famous couple of interviews with Peter Schmeichel when we won the FA Cup and when we won the Champions League. Both times, the journalist on the field tried to get him to, he was leaving Man United, and he was like, "Do you think you could stay? Would you change your mind?" And he just sort of like didn't physically push them away, but he just sort of screwed his face up and said, "I'm leaving, leave me alone." It was almost, this isn't the time to talk about that. Talk about the game, talk about the achievement, talk about the history that's just been made, and we'll do this on another day. And that's very good to see that Victor Osimhen did that. It shows that he's got morals. It shows that he's got a great personality. It shows that he's not egotistical uh, to epic proportions. I do think there's an egotistical part of all superstar athletes. I think you have to have that to get to that level, but it's not boiling over into an immoral state. But it's 150 million pounds. I don't think Chelsea are going to part with that amount of money this year for a striker. There are big reports today that Maurizio Pochettino is going to give Lukaku a chance. And that might serve Chelsea better year one, with Nkunku coming in and some other top players have already purchased in the attacking areas, as opposed to saying, right, there's another 150 million pounds being spent. From Man United's perspective, this is a player high up on our priority list. Harry Kane is seen by most outlets as the number one, but Osimhen's an option. However, it's 150 million pound. This deal only happens if Man United get taken over and if the debt's paid off. I don't quite believe the media reports we've only got 100 million to spend. They said the same thing last year. But if we get new owners, there's no debt, they inject money, and we sell players, there'll be exponentially more to spend. But I know a lot of Man United fans want Victor Osimhen. He's certainly an option. The fact the player has said, I don't want to talk about things now, as I've said, shows respect. However, it tells you it's on his mind. He wants to come to the Premier League. Someone's going to strike for this highly talented and very, very gifted young man. But where do you think he will end up? Now, on to Arsenal. We know they're linked to Declan Rice. And there's a story this morning from the brilliant Ben Jacob, who says, and I want to quote what he says here, that because I think they would prefer Declan Rice over Mason Mount. Conversations are required on both fronts to determine how attainable each player is in their pricing, but Rice is Arsenal's top target as it stands. So unless Mount is available at a silly low price, which there is no sign of, then I think Rice will stay the priority until such a time as it can't happen. So Arsenal still pushing on the Declan Rice front. The links to Mason Mount are real, but they're not advancing at this moment in time because Declan Rice is seen as superior. He's seen as superior and not that much more expensive. So why would you go for a worse quality player comparatively for only a marginal difference in the money? It doesn't make any sense. So Arsenal still prioritizing that. But defensively, Arsenal know that they need to bolster their ranks. Rob Holding isn't good enough. Kivior was good the other night, but is he ready to step up on a regular basis? Arsenal are now linked to the Dynamo Zagreb centre-back, Josip Satulo, I think it's pronounced, who's been highly rated and scouted by the Gunners all year, according to this report that I read this morning. It says that Arsenal are tracking the Croatian defender. Arsenal want to upgrade their backline next season and are keeping tabs, and are also keeping tags on Mark Gahey from Crystal Palace as well. And I think it's sensible. I do think it's sensible for Arsenal to do this. And the reason that I say this is because, listen, let's see what happens with Tomiyasu's injuries. They're probably going to be letting Kieran Tierney go. They know they've got some defensive holes, and they've got a very young defense as well. So they need to add some experience. Yes, he's not the oldest, but he's 23. He's not a baby. Not an 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old with no experience. 23 years of age. He's already started playing for Croatia. The fact he's Croatian, it almost tells you without needing to look at him, there's going to be a good baseline of technical ability in this individual, and playing out from the back is very, very important for Arsenal. But expect to see more stories around this. Mark Gahey, Satulo, as we see here, very talented, very capable players on the ball to bolster Arsenal's back line. It's probably been their Achilles heel in the dying parts of the season, along with the midfield dropping off a little bit in Thomas Partey. That is why Declan Rice is being looked at. Arteta is identifying the areas of his team that need to be improved, the squad areas that need to be improved, because remember, next year, the standards are higher. Title challenge again, progression in the Champions League, and better outings in the domestic cups. All these things are massively important to Arteta and Arsenal next year. So another kind of piece in the jigsaw being looked at. And maybe the strangest story that I saw today on One Football is this: that Arsenal have been linked with a surprise move for Cristiano Ronaldo. It says the report claims Eddie Howe is looking to add more quality to his attack, and Ronaldo could prove to be a useful short-term acquisition. And I couldn't even lie to you. I love Ronaldo. I know it ended unceremoniously with Manchester United. I know that it didn't go out how I had hoped. I would love him to have had another good goal scoring season, picked up a few trophies. I would have loved this to have been his last year. You know, him getting enough goals to help us win the FA Cup and the League Cup and make top four, and then he moves on. You think, okay, not a bad ending to your life at Man United. But it doesn't mean I dislike him. It doesn't mean I hate him. It doesn't mean that he's suddenly not a Manchester United legend. He still is, in my humble opinion. But I can't see this deal happening. Newcastle were looking to bring the likes of Rafinha in. Now, Rafinha will never be as good as any of the peak years of Ronaldo. He just won't be. He's only better than him now because he's physically more able because he's younger. But Rafinha is the direction that Newcastle need to go in. Doesn't matter how good Ronaldo was. Doesn't matter that Rafinha can never get to Ronaldo's peak level because Ronaldo's peak level doesn't exist for him anymore. It's a Fugazi point. It doesn't matter. Rafinha is a better football player now and will be a better acquisition now than Ronaldo will be. Ronaldo going to Newcastle, I think, is a distraction. Ronaldo going to Newcastle doesn't fit, in my opinion, with what the Saudis are trying to achieve there. It doesn't make sense. Almost a commercial-based signing who can't press, which they need, can't run, which they need. His goal scoring, prowess has waned as well. He hasn't even, his goal scoring records look good in Saudi, but, and this is the big thing, the but, he's not prolific week in, week out. It's like he scores in fits and starts. And that's just because he's done now. And I don't want to see Ronaldo come. Partly, I don't think Newcastle will do it. The second thing is, I don't want to see Ronaldo come here another year older and struggle again. Because people that love Ronaldo will always remember the great years. Proper football fans will remember the great years. But he's got a lot of detractors. And I don't want him having another poor year, another poor season on the bench, problems, moaning, Piers Morgan interviews, because I just don't want his reputation to be tarnished anymore because I love the guy. He's a legend of my football club. So, yeah, listen, I appreciate the story, but this is one I'm pushing back against. I don't think it's going to happen for both parties. For me, I think it's an absolute non-starter is what I would say. But viewers, as ever, I would love your views. I would love your opinions. Please make sure like buttons are smashed. Make sure you're downloading that OneFootball app. And please click the bell notification button because the algorithm is not your friend. You need to know when we go live or post up new content. Until next time, my people, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thank you.